Guys, I'm not going to put my theme song on this video because of the nature of it. This is a hard one for me to do. Okay, where do I even start here? Okay, when I was around 23, my grandfather, who I call Papa, passed away. And he left us some money, and I decided to go and get a tattoo in his honour. Panthers were my grandfather's favourite animal, so I wanted to get a panther on my back. So my dad came with me to the consultation, and we spoke to the guy. His name was John. About how much the tattoo would cost, etc., things like that. And straight away, he was being a little bit inappropriate. He was making comments on my looks, stuff like that. And my dad had to turn around and say to him, "Hoy, that's my daughter you're talking about." And he said, "Oh, it's just banter, I'm ex-army." And my dad's also ex-army, and I, at the time, was army. So he says, my dad says, "Yeah, but you still won't talk to women, or make comments about women, especially not my daughter." So he apologised and said he meant no harm by it. We should have bloody left then and there, but we didn't. So when he was booking me in for the tattoo, I noticed that he put me right at the end of the day. I looked at his book and I could see all these empty spaces during the day, but he put me right at the end, when the tattoo shop would be closing. I didn't even think to question that. I just thought, oh, well, maybe he's busy doing something. That's why he can't put me in any of these times. But I should have questioned that. So the day of the tattoo comes and I arrive at his tattoo studio. And I'm getting this panther on my back. So I'm sitting on a chair with my back towards him. And he starts doing the tattoo and it's painful. So I ask him if he has any freezing gel. He says, "No, but I have the stuff that they use in Africa." And I'm like, "What? Africa?" He says, "Yeah." He says, "Do you know how African tribes have all the tattoos on their faces and things like that?" I didn't know anything at the time about Africa. I was 23 years old. And I just said, yeah. He says, "Well, yeah, this is the stuff that they use." So I thought, okay, he's a professional. He knows what he's doing. He told me he was trained. He also told me he was ex-army. And he also told me he was a paramedic. Full of fucking lies. So he goes into this cupboard and he brings out this big brown bottle full of liquid. It was full. I'm sorry, my throat's getting dry. This just makes me so nervous to talk about this. So he brings out this big liquid. I see him pour some of it onto this cotton swabby thing. And I think I'm waiting on him rubbing it on my back. But I never feel it on my back. Instead, he put it over my face. And after that, I remember nothing. Absolutely nothing. The next time I woke up, I looked down. He's trying to open my mouth. And I see his other hand and his trousers. And I'm so disorientated. I do not know what is happening. And he notices that my eyes are open. And he puts the swab back over my face. I later come to find out that it's chloroform. I don't know how much more time passes. But I wake up again. This time, his hands in my trousers. Again, he notices I'm awake. And I get more chloroform. The next time I woke up, it was all done. But his attitude had changed. He was aggressive now. And he kept saying to me, "Do you remember what happened? Do you remember what happened?" Screaming it at me. And I don't know if like my fight or flight kicked in. But I thought, go along with him. You're now in a really fucking dangerous situation here. And I start saying, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I passed out. I can't apologise deeply enough. I'm apologising to the guy who's just drugged and sexually assaulted me. I said to him, it's all my fault. I'm so sorry. And he just kept asking me, do you know what happened? Do you know what happened? And I says, no, I'm sorry. Like, the pain must have been too much. And I passed out. And I think I kind of placated him in a way, because he calmed down. And I remember there were like these windows in the tattoo studio, but they were like really high up. And I looked up and I seen it was dark outside. It was like pitch black outside. I thought, how long have I been here for? I tried to get up and I couldn't stand. I just collapsed to the ground. And I could see like shock on his face. And I asked him if he could call me a taxi. He said, no, you can't leave in this condition. And the fear set in again. So he picked me up. And I thought he was just going to like put me outside, but he didn't. Where his shop was positioned was like an alleyway, a dead-end alleyway with a car park, so I was totally obscured for any view from the public. And he put me in his car. And I just thought to myself, I'm not going to see my family again. And he took me up to these dark roads, dark winding roads. There was no street lights, nothing. And he kept saying to me, do you know what happened? Do you understand what happened? Do you remember what happened? I said, I don't. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I passed out. I'm so ashamed. And he just kept going on and on. But do you remember what happened? Do you fucking remember what happened? I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't. I really don't. And I'm so ashamed. Known all along that something horrible had happened to me. And I didn't know if I was going to die or not. And I was just getting these horrible flashes of the things that he'd done. But I had to act normal. I had to act so normal because I didn't want to truthfully, I just didn't want to die. I managed to stay so calm that I convinced him, that I managed to convince him that I didn't know anything and that this was all my fault for fainting. So he drove me to my town and just put me out his car at a primary school. I couldn't even walk. But by the grace of God, I don't know if it was a miracle or not, my own sister, was walking by 2 minutes later. And she shouted, "Angela, is that you?" As you could see, I was crying. I couldn't get up. She ran over to me and she looked at me and she says, "Oh my God, what the fuck happened to your face?" I didn't know at this point that because he'd used that much chloroform, he'd literally burned the skin off all my nose, all around my mouth. It was just the skin was just hanging off. It just burnt half my face off. So she went and got her husband and they phoned the police. And from there, the police took me to the hospital. The doctor told me that he couldn't even understand why I was still alive. The amount of chloroform they found in my system, he says I should have been dead. He says you must have had some will to fight to live. He says because this would have killed most people. They asked me what had happened, but because I couldn't remember, and because obviously he drugged me, the lawyer says the court's not going to take that as fact, because how they'll just say, yeah, even though we believe you, they'll just say you hallucinated it because you were drugged. And because he didn't rape me, he just sexually assaulted me. There wasn't enough evidence there. And because obviously what he did was so fragmented in my mind, because I was drugged. I wasn't a credible witness for them. So the only thing that they could charge him with was reckless administration of chloroform. And I thought at least that might get him prison, because that's it's like recklessly not attempting to, but you killing somebody, attempting to recklessly kill somebody. But it didn't. He was told to pay me £2,000 compensation. And that's it. And he even had the cheek. He had to close his studio down in my hometown because everyone wanted to kill him. My brother and all his friends. They went to actually literally go murder him. But they ended up going to the wrong tattoo studio and nearly beating up the wrong tattooist. My brother's not that brightest bulb. By this time, this evil bastard, his name's John Barber. His name's forever burned in my mind. He's already in custody. But he closed down involuntarily his studio where I live, and he opened a new one in Fife. So I don't know if the guy's still got that studio there. I mean, he's got to be old as shit now. I think he was in his 50s then. He's got to be 20 years ago or so now. So he's got to be in his 70s. But, yeah. And because of him, I can't go to a male doctor's appointment on my own. Because of him, I can't be in the company guys I don't know on my own. And because of him, I still have bloody nightmares. But it's got easier over the years. I never used to be able to talk about it, but now I can. So I think like the moral of the story here is don't take something that a tattooist offers you for pain, even if you think they're a professional, and don't just trust anyone. A few facts that the newspapers got wrong is they says that he handed it the chloroform soaked rag to me and I held it against my face. That's not what happened. He was the one that did that. But apart from that, everything else is true. But they couldn't put anything about the sexual assault or anything in there because, as it says, they couldn't prove it. So they got away with that. So yeah, I know some people thought that I've had an extraordinary life, and I have. I've done some amazing things, but I've also went through some really, really bad stuff. And yeah, I mean, I'm only in my 40s and both my parents are gone, and it's yeah, it's not easy, is it? Life isn't easy, but it's what you make of it, and it's what you do with it that counts. If you're a good person and you treat others with kindness and respect and compassion, then I think karma will show you goodness back. But sometimes I think horrible things have to be thrown at you to learn valuable lessons. I've seen friends killed, and it just makes me respect life so much more. So, yeah. So thanks for listening to this little story, and probably not easy for anyone to listen to. I should have put like a kind of trigger warning at the beginning of this, but it's my story, and if I can survive something like this, anybody out there who's ever had anything like this happen to them can survive it too. Okay, bye.